What is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. So today I just want to talk about why and what I have in my range bag. Let's just get started with the small pockets and then we'll work our way back to the bigger ones. This front one, I like to keep some tape. So right now I've got this roll of duct tape just in case I need to like tape up a target or something like that. So it's mostly for targets. And I always keep one of these rat tourniquets in here. It's just a bright red one, so it's easy to see when people open this up. Now I like to carry an actual med kit with me as well. At least I'll have something if I forget that or whatever. Which luckily through all the years that I've been shooting, I've never had an accident because we always follow the safety rules, but it's just good to have something just in case. This is like a little pack of the little cheapy foam earbuds. Just so that way I've got something for if I've got a guest with me and they don't have hearing protection, or if somebody forgets theirs, then at least we've got something for them. So this tool right here is probably the most useful in my whole bag, or at least one of them. But it basically is a multi-tool for like all your shooting needs. So you've got different tools to adjust like your optics and things to work on your gun. Basic tools, but you've got a punch if you need to get some pins out. You have a sight adjustment tool. Lots of times you need like a small coin or something to adjust your windage and elevation on your optic. And so with that, you can just do it with that. You've got different size like hex tools and Allen wrenches. Then on the back side, you've got this little door that pops open and you have 4 bits. So 2 of them are flathead bits and 2 are Phillips, 2 sizes of each basically. And they're magnetically held in there, so they're not going to accidentally fall out. They pop out easily if you pull on them, and then it just goes in the end there, and you can, tighten down whatever you need to or loosen something. You know how screwdrivers work. So anyways, it's just nice having this tool, and it's come in handy several times for me, so that's a must-have. And by the way, if any of this stuff interest you or you're like interested in getting it for your range bag, I'll put links in the description of this video down below. That way, if you're interested, you can just click on one of those links and it'll take you straight to Amazon where you can buy it. That way you don't have to go searching for it. Plus, it really helps out my channel because I get a small percentage from Amazon, and even though it's not much, it does help out, so I would really appreciate that. I've also got, this is kind of random, but some tissues. My nose just gets runny when I'm out in the cold, so this is actually like a little bit more like durable of a wipe. And so this is good to use after you're done shooting, so that way you can kind of get most of the lead deposits on. Obviously, you still want to wash your hands with soapy water as soon as you get a chance, but this is just good for wiping down, and getting a large majority, if not all of it, off of you. That way, if you're gonna go snack on something, you're not eating little bits of lead. Yeah, I'll link these. They're just nice. They contain aloe vera and chamomile, vitamin E, different things that are good for your hands, and they're biodegradable, and they're extra thick, as it says on there. So 25 extra thick wipes. And I don't remember them being very expensive for how durable they are, and you only really need one each time you go out, if that. And some latex gloves in case I end up needing to take something apart and clean it or add some oil and I just don't want to get greasy or something. This is just kind of like having some bare minimal survival stuff, even though this isn't like a bug out bag or a survival bag or anything. This is strictly my range bag, but since I had the space, I just threw a little bit of like fire starter stuff in here. It's actually just lint, but it kind of works. It's not the best thing, but it's better than nothing. And then a little Bic lighter. So, just it's good to have something if you're out on public land in the mountains by yourself. Who knows? I don't know. I'll probably never have to use it, but just throw that in there. This pocket right here, I keep some extra batteries, and they're all in their own little Ziploc too. But these are all different size batteries for different things that I have. So some optics I use have a CR2032, and some of them that I use have this little tiny CR1632. And then my Ear Pro actually use, because they're electronic, and so they use these little AAA. And the last thing in here is not really a tool, but it's a little clip. I don't know, it's just a cool little metal clip. It's really sturdy, and I could use it for hanging something up if I wanted to, or I can just use it to put my keys on and throw it in the backpack. I don't have many things in here, but I've got glasses, like some eye protection because they're kind of, oh, whatever. I'm not going to clean them off right now. But yeah, you obviously need to have eye protection when you go shooting, so I like to use these yellow ones. Oh, I didn't even notice. I guess I forgot that they're made by Ruger, which is kind of cool. But I've had these for probably a decade, and they keep working, so I don't see a reason to get new ones. I guess it would be kind of cool to have some clear ones also, so I could have some yellow ones and some clear. I always use these, and it kind of brightens up the place that I'm at. So if I'm at an indoor range or outdoors, doesn't matter. It's not like it makes the sun more blinding. It actually still sort of works like a sunglasses, where it kind of makes it less harsh on your eyes, but it just makes everything a little bit brighter, and I don't know, I just like them. I have some of these slightly fancier foam hearing protection, so they go in your ears, but then if you take them out, you can kind of let them rest on your neck, which is nice. It's kind of why I have them, because lots of times if we're taking a break from shooting or all that, I don't have to put them in my pocket and then the little foamy gets full of dust. I don't know, just the lint that's in your pocket. But it's just kind of nice being able to pull them out real quick and let them hang down and then put them back in. And you can buy these in a pack, and it'll come with a few of them. And obviously they cost more than the pack of just a loose foam hearing protection, but I mean, you can keep using the same one multiple times. So then I've got my shooting gloves, which I don't use all the time, but if I'm outdoors and it's cold, then it's good to have something. These aren't super warm winter gloves or anything, but it's better than nothing. Sometimes I'll practice shooting with them on even if it's not cold outside. I think a good pair of shooting gloves are good, and these I actually would highly recommend. Some of this other stuff, you can pretty much get any other version of that item, but these shooting gloves are really good. I've seen a lot of people use these online for years and years, and I've owned these for years. This is my second pair actually, and I think I own another pair because I bought some when they were on sale just so that I could have some in the future when these wear down. But I mean, it's only my second pair, and I've been shooting for 10 years. These are really useful. There's two bigger pockets. This middle one, which is the one I'm gonna open now, this one has the most amount of stuff in it, and then the back one, I don't really keep that much in it. So here's my other hearing protection, because lots of times I'll keep these in my ears, and then on top of it, I'll put these guys. It's nice because they fold up to this really small package, and then they just pop right out. And they're pretty comfortable. They're not super expensive. I think they're good for the price, because there's some that are better that are much more expensive, and there's some cheaper ones, but they're a little bit bulkier. Anyways, these are just very good for the price. I don't remember how much they cost. I've owned these for several years, but again, there'll be a link in the description down below. And they've got mics right here, and that picks up the sound. And the volume control is back here, so to turn it on, you just turn this. You'll hear a little beep beep on the inside when you're wearing them, and that kind of tells you that they're on. And then once they're on, you can hear everything. You can hear people talking, which is nice, because even with these guys in and this over them, I'll still be able to hear people talking, and I don't have to scream and they don't have to scream, and we can communicate completely fine because it's bringing that audio into my ears. I don't know the exact decibel, but basically if it's a really, really loud sound, like a gunshot, then it mutes that sound. So it won't, hurt your ears. Plus you've got all this on. And so it's really, really nice when you're out shooting. You don't want to be doing this every single time you need to hear somebody talk. So these guys are pretty much a must-have too. I mean, I guess you don't have to have them obviously to go shooting. You can just have any old hearing protection, but it's very convenient because you're not having to struggle to communicate with people and all that. Plus it's just good to be able to hear your surroundings even if you're by yourself out in the mountains shooting, because I mean, what if you unfortunately some wild animal runs up on you or something? Not that that's a common thing, but it's just good to have that awareness and being able to hear what's happening around you. So very useful. You just don't want to forget to turn them off, which I've done in the past, and then the next time I go to use them, they're dead. Now, luckily I'll have my spare batteries and then I'll just have to like replace those batteries when I get home. I've also got this dump pouch. This one's made by Maxpedition, which is a good brand. You just pull this, so you would put this on your belt and you open this up so you can keep it on your belt closed if you want, or you can open it up, and that's what you would do when you're shooting. So yeah, you can see it just becomes this big old pouch. It's got tons of space. It doesn't weigh hardly anything and just hangs off your back hip, you know, or wherever you want to put it on the side, more towards the back. And that way you've just got a space to put your AR mag once you're done with it, or like I said, when you're picking up brass at the end. Maybe you get like a dud of a round and you don't want to leave it on the ground, so you can throw it in here. Many uses for this, and it folds up super easily. I mean, you just go like that, and then I like to keep ammo in here, at least a little bit for each of my most common calibers. So I have like some 9mm. Lots of times I'll have 2 boxes, so like 100 rounds. But it looks like right now I've only got 50. This whole pouch, this is probably close to 500 rounds. I took it out of the box because the box kind of gets squished and starts to tear and stuff. And I mean, I guess the same thing can happen with the bag, but it just seems like it's a little bit more pliable and just works well for me. You could always double bag it or use like one of the freezer bags because that's a little bit more durable. And then some 5.56, or here's some 223. Oh, that's 223. This is 223 and that's 5.56. I normally just buy whatever is the best deal at the time between 223 and 5.56. So most of my stuff is 55 grain, 5.56, but sometimes I end up with all kinds of other things. This is just a little bit of suppressed ammo for the 22. As long as it's like below like 1100 feet per second, so you want to get it down like between 1060 or 1070 and under, and it'll be subsonic at that point. And I do own a suppressor for my 22s, and I can kind of put it on whatever 22 I want. And so with this guy and a suppressor, then you just basically end up with like a super quiet gun, and it's just fun to shoot. And it, you know, you don't disturb anybody. You know, this one is specifically like branded as subsonic, which basically just makes it cost slightly more. But if you get like CCI's standard velocity, I believe that one is like 1060 or 1070, and so that's basically the same thing. This one is 1020, so it's slightly slower, but the other one is also very, very quiet because it's not breaking the speed of sound. So this is a rangefinder, and most of you might be familiar with what they are. Some of you might not, but what it does is it's kind of like a monocular, but it's got a laser rangefinder in it. Basically, you just point it at the target and hit a button, and it'll tell you how far away that is. Now, if you shoot mostly at indoor ranges or just ranges in general, whether they're indoor or outdoor, you probably won't really find a need for this because, I mean, when you go to a range, you know the distance. It tells you this is a 100-yard range or 25-yard range or whatever. You don't need to like use something like this to find out the distance. But if you're out shooting on public land and you want to, you know, set up targets and you want to know how far you're shooting because you're maybe trying to sight in your optic specifically at 100 yards or at 50 yards, either way, you want to know how far away your target is. And the only way to do that, unless you, I don't know, bring a really long tape measure and just walk multiple times and do that, which is just ridiculous. With this guy, you just set up your target and then you kind of range it out and you know, okay, this is 100 yards. And super quick, super easy, very useful tool. A little bit more expensive than probably everything else in here, but definitely worth it. And this one by Leupold, I mean, they are known for their glass and their technology and their scopes that they make. So this one I would highly recommend. There's definitely other good ones out there, and I'll maybe put links to some other ones that I think are different price ranges, different values. But this one I highly recommend. Now the last couple items in this pocket are pretty random. They probably don't really need to be in here, but they're just in here just because. I've got this random little hatchet. Super cheapy, it's from Walmart. Yeah, I don't really have an answer as to why it's in there. I don't know. It's good, I guess, if I was in a survival situation. I've got my fire starting, my basic fire starting capabilities, and a little axe for chopping some wood, and then some paracord on the handle. Then I've got these D-rings. There's 2 of them right here because the whole inside of this is got Velcro and Molly for attaching different things. If you want to attach like additional pouches for organization in this backpack, super useful backpack. It's got Velcro on this side as well, but these are just attached to the Molly on here. And again, they're just kind of in there because they're lightweight. They don't really take up much space because they're so flat, and these ones are made of like a durable plastic, and so they may not be obviously rated for climbing or anything like that, but it's just nice if you were to make some makeshift tent or something and you needed the paracord in these to attach it to a tree. I don't know, they're just in here because they don't take up space and they're lightweight. As for this main pocket, it's the biggest pocket, but it's probably got the least amount of stuff in it. I've got my actual med kit in here. So this full-on med kit, you've got all kinds of stuff to stop bleeding, and it's got its own one of those rat tourniquets. It's got one in here as well because this kind of goes with different bags depending on where I'm going. And that's why I have that tourniquet in this bag as well, just in case for some reason, somehow I forget this. Now in theory, this will always be with me, but I do move it from bag to bag because I have a hiking bag specifically for just going out and hiking. So if I'm gonna go hiking, I'll put this with that. But then if I'm gonna go to the range, I'll remember to grab it and throw it in my range bag. Everything else stays in this bag except for this because it's kind of a lot to buy all this stuff like 3 or 4 different times for different backpacks or for your car or whatever. And you could definitely do it, and I mean, it's worth it because you can help a lot of people with something like this, not just yourself. Even if you're in a car accident or you see a car accident and somebody really needs some attention, obviously you should know how to use at least some of the basic stuff in here. Worst case, maybe somebody else will know how to use it, so it's still good to have. I'm not gonna go into detail as to what's in here, but there's a lot in here. There's this trauma pack, which has all kinds of stuff, and gauze and tape, and like I said, another rat tourniquet, this whole pouch. I'm not gonna get into it right now. I have a whole separate video just on this, so if you're interested, I'll link that in the description so you can check that out with all the stuff that's in there and all the gear. But there's definitely some good stuff in there. And normally the rest of this pocket's pretty empty, other than I do have a flashlight in here. And this is a really nice flashlight. This is an Olight, and if you're not familiar with them, they make really nice rechargeable flashlights. Very high lumens, meaning they're very bright, they're durable, they're waterproof to like a certain extent, but very water resistant. But the reason why I keep this pocket mostly empty is, for one, because I don't want to just continue to put unnecessary stuff in here. I mean, I've got a few things in here that you could consider unnecessary, but most of it is very useful for a day at the range, and lots of it is necessary. And so I don't want to just add a bunch of extra stuff just because I don't need to, and I don't want to make it heavier than it needs to be. But another reason why I like to keep the bigger pocket empty is just in case maybe there's more people coming with me and I gotta, for some reason, throw more things in here for them. Or if I want to throw like a bigger jacket in here because maybe I don't think I'm gonna need it, and I probably won't need it, but I want to have it just in case it ends up being colder than I expect or whatever. It's just good to have that extra space and not be completely maxed out. I used to use this for something else actually, but then a couple years went by and I decided to change things up, and now I use this backpack as my range bag. But it's super durable, and it's got tons of organization and pockets, and it's water resistant. The water just kind of beads off of it. So there's a lot of cool features about this backpack, but I do have a whole video on this backpack as well. So if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description for this as well. And even though this backpack isn't like specifically designed as a range bag, and there are like more traditional duffel style range bags that are probably better suited to carry all your stuff and your spare mags and all that, but I didn't want to spend the money on something specifically for that when I already had a very high quality backpack, and I can use this for multiple things. If I really wanted to, I could always take all my stuff out if I'm gonna go on a trip and I wanna bring this backpack as like my weekend getaway backpack. This is a super good bag, and I highly recommend it for all kinds of uses, not just a range bag, but hiking backpack, as your main daily backpack if you need one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. And if you did, definitely hit the like button. It's a super simple thing that you can do that really helps out my channel, so I would appreciate that as well. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos in the future. Plus, I've already got a good amount of content on my channel, from gun reviews to how to clean guns and mounting optics and different things. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, definitely subscribe. And thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.